Every mountain biker dreads going over the bars or crashing in other ways. And in this video, you'll learn about the most essential skills to avoid going over the bars and to ensure traction and control. Basically, the skills you really need to ride technical trails with confidence. Hi, I'm Roxy and I've been coaching mountain bike riding technique for over 15 years now. I also mentor and certify other skills instructors all around the world, and I even coach pro riders. Working with thousands of riders of all levels over the years keeps showing me that too many mountain bikers have no idea about the skills they actually need to ride tech safely. This video will be especially helpful for beginner to intermediate riders, but also expert riders will take away a nugget or maybe several. So I'm just going to sit down here so that I can share all this with you. Most people think they must learn tricks like bunny hops, jumping, nose pivot turns, etc., which are nice to have and kind of sexy, but to actually ride a tech trail safely, you really just need two skills, and these in a very, very advanced and refined form. And you're going to understand why if you watch this video closely till the end. The problem is that these two skills are unspectacular or unsexy. So most riders and coaches I've worked with neglect them, or they just touch on the surface of them, or they try to correct the consequence of these errors down the road. Some of these consequences could, for example, be a loss of traction in corners or losing control in steeps. But these are symptoms. The cause of these errors and the cause of many more common problems riders face are usually to be found in the two essential skills that I'm sharing with you today. I call them the imperatives.
Hey, wait, Roxy. If you share this now, it's gonna take no more than 3 weeks for a male coach to steal this idea and sell it as his own, as usual. You sure you want to share it?
Yeah, I know, but I'd rather share concepts like this with you people that make mountain biking safer than keep them to myself just to keep some unethical dude from pleasing his ego. So, back to the topic. The first skill is the most important one. It's actually the absolute foundation of anything you do on a mountain bike, and that's body positioning. Wait, this is not just another body position video. Keep watching and you will find out. Why? So when you're riding, you want to avoid going over the bars. And you want to avoid losing traction. Right? So bottom line is you need to ensure that your tires are weighted properly to have traction while still having ideal rollover resistance. So you want your tires to track and not get stuck. This versus this. How do you reach that? By constantly repositioning your body correctly, responding to the demands of the terrain, because your body is the heavy mass and the bike is the light mass. So by positioning the body correctly, you'll weight the bike and its tires correctly, which will ensure optimal rollover resistance paired with optimal traction. And although this sounds like super easy, refining this is the secret sauce of control. So how do you do it? By staying 100% weighted through the feet with no weight and no hang in your hands, by using heavy feet, light hands as a mantra, and by using your body suspension to separate the bike from the body. Generally, this is the bike, this is the body. The bike will move and the body is staying stable. I already have a detailed video about the foot wedge as a tool versus dropping both heels as a default, as the foot wedge is biomechanically absolutely essential to keep your body stable, because only then you can maintain a balanced position when your bike is exposed to forces, which it constantly is while riding, i.e. keeping your body from being thrown rearwards in ditches. When you drop both heels, that'll happen. Or, for from being thrown forward upon rolling against an obstacle, which will happen if you're on tiptoes. The thing is, most people regard mountain biking and the position too statically. But the thing is, we're never static out on the trails. It's a dynamic sport. So here are 4 bullet points: heavy feet, hip hinge, body suspension, light hands. You need to stay equally and heavily planted through the feet, constantly readjusting your balance, which means using your ankles purposefully to constantly maintain a balanced body position, aka your center of mass over the bottom bracket. You need to use the hip hinge and your body suspension to attain this and to maintain light hands. Why? Because again, this is what gives you traction, direction, while still allowing your tires to roll over obstacles. So here's how this looks. And here's how this doesn't look. Do you find my videos helpful? Then tip me by buying me a coffee. The link is right here and also below. Okay, so the big question now is, how are you going to learn to perform this body positioning magic? Well, by doing the following 4 steps: understanding, practicing, ingraining, refining. Understanding is fast. You'll hopefully understand in this video. That's what YouTube tutorials teach you. It clicks. But turning this knowledge into abilities takes more. It takes the next 3 steps: practicing, ingraining, refining. Practicing means doing the right movement patterns over and over, ideally with feedback, to avoid practicing errors with spaced repetition, because your brain needs rest and sleep to link the neurons in your procedural memory to reach step 3, which is ingraining. And to ingrain a movement, you must practice a specific pattern over and over to make it automatic, to turn it into a subconscious habit, something you don't need to think about and can just do out on the trails even when you're distracted, like for example concentrating on the line you want to hit. And then step 4 is you can refine with time, as movements will become finely coordinated with the right practice. And also here, feedback is the accelerator. So here's a tip on how to do this safely and effectively. Well, by understanding and following the before mentioned 4 steps and hopefully practicing the right moves. Or you can simply follow my drills in front of your doorstep with my fundamentals course that includes my personal feedback, because details matter, and really practicing the right patterns for your body, your bike, that's essential, and my eye will detect these errors quickly, because no YouTube tutorial on the world will ever replace step-by-step drills and personal feedback, because YouTube only addresses step 1. Imparting knowledge, but knowledge needs to be transformed into abilities by following the other three steps. So, what is skill 2? It's braking. I have seen countless mountain bikers, even instructors, get stuck at an intermediate level because they didn't work on their braking skills. Braking seems like this no-brainer, but actually braking, especially in combination with an excellent body position, will take your riding to the next level in no time, I'm honest. Braking errors have so many symptoms, like front wheel washouts in corners, loss of control in steeps, not hitting the intended line, going over the bar, for example in a switchback or somewhere else. And even less dramatic ones, like not feeling in control in gnar, not making tight corners, fear of steeps, fear of drops, and I could add dozens more. So how do you want to brake? Again, you'll get step-by-step practice drills in my fundamentals course to turn this knowledge into abilities, but here are 4 bullet points. 1, both brakes, index finger. 2, dimmer, not light switch. 3, brace body through legs. 4, heel drop is key. And let me give you more context to each of these 4. 1, your index finger is the only finger that's independently movable into both directions. So you want to cover the brakes with your index finger at all times, and this avoids sudden jerky braking, and it ensures a steady grip with your strongest finger, which is your middle finger on your grips. 2, dimmer, not light switch. This means you should modulate the brakes like a dimmer versus suddenly grabbing and letting go, like turning a light switch on and off. Brake modulation is fine coordination, so it takes a lot of deliberate practice to refine. You generally want to use both brakes, and the steeper it gets, the more front brake you'll need, as your body weight is pushed against the front wheel, which lightens the rear wheel and thus reduces braking power of the rear wheel. As long as you use both brakes without skidding, you'll usually, with practice, start using more of the front. But also here, pro feedback and structured drills will accelerate this process immensely. 3, brace body through legs. Okay, this is key. There's basically no way you can go over the bars if you're fully weighted through your feet, applying the aforementioned 2 points. Especially during braking, where engaging the brake factually slows down the bike, but the body is still moving at the same speed. So you need to brace against these forces that want to throw your body forward by bracing your body weight through your legs and feet. For this, you need good core muscles and a good hip hinge at the hips. And this brings me to point 4. Heel drop is key. I already have a video about this, I'm going to link it below, but using your ankles intentionally and purposefully is the essence of mountain biking in control. And once you've understood this concept, you'll see all the pros do it, even if they often say they're not. So during heavy braking, yes, you will want to drop your heels, plural, both heels. But during light braking or constant braking, keeping the front heel dropped and maintaining that foot wedge, staying heavily and evenly weighted, will give you the grip you need on your front tire, that extra grip. So during braking, not intentionally moving rearward, but using that hip hinge and heel drop will add so much more control. It will reduce your braking distance and allow for faster riding speeds overall because you need less time, less space braking. So that's 1, both brakes, index finger. 2, dimmer, not light switch. 3, brace body through legs. And 4, heel drop is key. Again, once you've understood, practiced, and ingrained these principles, you will ride faster, safer, you'll ride more technical terrain, and that's simply by improving these 2 skills. That's it. And honestly, if you're using your body suspension, staying heavily weighted through the feet, braking finely, applying a very refined form of these 2 skills, that's all there is to riding double black sections. For example, this one in Sedona. Or similar sections. And that's why if you look at my skills pyramid right here, pressure control, which is the intentional positioning of the body, is at the bottom of the pyramid because everything else builds upon it. But what matters is to actually be able to perform these skills, not just understand them. And as I've already said, structured practice is the only way to get there. You can try to fix the symptoms of a lack of these 2 skills, but finding and fixing the cause is so much faster. And that's my daily job, into which I want to give you some insights with these videos. So here are a few extra points. No matter how much more info I put in this video, no YouTube video will ever replace structured methodical practice. You need to perform these movements over and over, ideally in the right order and ideally with correct form to ingrain and then refine them. That's exactly why I developed my home training courses, because my students have been making so much more progress than they ever could during like my 1 or 2 day clinics. And no haters, I'm not saying this to sell you something. I'm saying this because it's true, and of course my day job is what makes all these videos possible and all my expertise possible. Otherwise I couldn't impart this knowledge here in the first place. And I share these videos in my free times. Fact is, learning motor patterns takes time, requires sleep in between to consolidate, and that's a neuroscientific fact, especially as an adult. Body positioning and braking seem like easy things. Yeah, well now you know they're not. So if you want to ride technical trails in control, you need to refine them because they determine traction, control, and ultimately your safety and fun. Did you find this video helpful? Then support my minimally monetized channel by buying me a coffee, which is the equivalent of buying or of tipping me. Become a patron to support me monthly, and of course to get exclusive access to exclusive content, and leave a comment below. Much love. I'm Coach Roxy in Spain, and here's one of the videos I mentioned before. Here's my mailing list for tips and a free course, and please subscribe.